What's up, everybody, and welcome. And you know what? This is a special occasion tonight. And I haven't done one of these in a while, but this is special, okay? Because for the first time in 8 years, TNA Impact has finally had a live episode. And the last time I even remember that episode was actually when they were still on Pop TV years ago. And one thing commentary even said throughout tonight, and I actually remember this match, was Bobby Lashley versus Eddie Edwards for basically a winner take all for both the world title and the X Division title at the time. But it's been 8 years since they've had a live episode because, wow, I go back from the days of Pop TV when they were kind of live still occasionally here and there. But after that, they just kind of they went on a hunting channel and then, be on Access TV right now. But tonight it actually was live on Access TV and, of course, TNA Plus and whatnot. But this was a very big deal for TNA. I'm sure a lot of people that watch TNA, because, yeah, they haven't seen a live episode in that long. Everything has been taped. And trust me, I've been to the tapings of these episodes before. But they never been live. Maybe the pay-per-views and stuff and all that, but not the actual television show. So it's been a pretty long time since they done this, okay? And San Antonio, Texas tonight, I believe it was sold out. Obviously, this is the fallout from Genesis last Sunday back in Dallas, which I believe that was a sold-out building itself, too. So this is a very big deal going on for TNA right now, okay? And yeah, I know everybody talks about the partnership with, WWE, which I've already had my thoughts on it already. Like, first off, go check out the TNA Genesis review that is online right now. I did speak a little bit more about this partnership between WWE and TNA, even though it's just mostly NXT. But I've talked about it before months ago, and I talked a little bit more about it going on right now. So I'm not really going to kind of reiterate the stuff I've said before. Go check out the Genesis review if you want to hear that. But yes, TNA, though, tonight, like I said, they started off San Antonio, Texas. They actually have footage in the back of Gia Miller talking to Santino Marella, basically saying that's going to be a couple surprises on this show tonight. And there was a car that pulled up, and he says he couldn't tell what that surprise was. You're going to have to wait till later in the night to hear about that. But we actually start off the show with the new TNA World Heavyweight Champion himself, Joe Hendry. Mackenzie Mitchell, like I said, the new ring announcer now they got. Tom Hannafin and Matthew Redwall on commentary. Basically, Joe Hendry having a big pop coming out there, saying, he had an uphill battle and everything, and the fans chanting, "We believe." And he said he went to Santino, say he's going to be a fighting champion, and he will defend his TNA World title from anyone from anywhere. And, trust me, anything can happen, because tonight, the first time in 8 years, TNA is live. Santino walked out and he says, "Congratulations, I know you want to be a fighting champion, and you want to defend this title in and outside of this company. And tonight you will have an opponent. And tonight your opponent is going to be Matt Cardona." Matt Cardona is all over the place right now, so you don't know where he'll pop up, okay? Whether it be here in TNA, whether it be in AEW or ROH or some company, maybe GCW, I guess. You never know where Matt Cardona is going to show up. As my friend Shaggy would say, he pops up everywhere except for WWE. When will that ever happen again? I don't even know. But yeah, Matt Cardona back in TNA once again. He will be in the main event against Joe Hendry for the TNA World Heavyweight title, so watch out for that. As they played more footage from Genesis, especially with Josh Alexander quitting, Eric Young, I guess, was in the back with Steve Macklin, saying like you can't really, trust Josh Alexander, because Eric Young had talked to him, I guess, after the show, saying like after everything you've done, you're gonna quit. That's what's gonna happen. You're just going to quit like that. But, Josh says, there's no excuses for his behavior, because Steve didn't even trust him. Like, he's tried to take out both of our careers and everything, but, you just can't trust him. Eric Young ended up shaking hands with Alexander, but, Steve ended up walking away after that. So we're going to hear what happens with that going on later on tonight. Gia Miller was at Nick Nemeth's door, wanted an interview with him after losing the title. Ryan Nemeth came out doing the my brother and everything, and he says he's going to address everyone next week. So I guess we'll hear from Nick Nemeth, in a week since losing the TNA World title. Next was the concierge. Well, Ash and Heather by Elegance basically making an entrance. Coming out as like cowboys and all that, having hats and everything. As they had a 6-woman tag coming up next. Masha Slamovich and Spitfire versus Ash by Elegance and Heather by Elegance and Rosemary. Basically, a little bit of a rematch from last Sunday, just in a 6-woman tag. Once again, I said before, the Knockouts division really needs tag teams because there's only like 2 tag teams going around right now. But the 6-woman tag, it was good for what it was going on. I know the crowd did pop for Danny Luna just hitting German suplexes onto I think she was throwing around Ash by Elegance when so the crowd's actually popping for that. Next, Cora Jade made an entrance. Basically have an envelope like Masha Slamovich with her gimmick, taking an envelope and Xing out people on the photo. That's basically what Cora Jade did here. And I guess Ash ended up knocking Luna into Slamovich, knock her on the ground, rolling up Slamovich and not Slamovich, but rolling up Luna and getting the win. So basically, the heels getting a win right here after losing last Sunday. Listen, I think I said this before. I'm not really looking forward to Cora Jade versus Masha Slamovich. I'm just not. I just really don't buy into this match. I don't know why they're doing this, but hey, we gotta throw some opponent Masha Slamovich. But it's like, come on, we really throwing Cora Jade. I'm sorry, I'm just not buying the big titty skateboard girl here going against her. I'm not. I don't know what's going to happen in this whole feud, but it's like, am I really looking forward to seeing this match? Not really. I'm not, but I'm sure Masha Slamovich is going to get the win anyway. So, when will that match happen? I don't know. Right after that, Josh Alexander came out with the Northern Armory. Basically talking about how he quitted Genesis, but he's contractually obligated to appear even though he quit. And the fans are really booing him out here. And he talked about what happened at Genesis and he said he quit when he went against Mike Santana, and he threw everything he had at him, and it wasn't enough. He said he's been doing this for 20 years now, and a dream of his was to be here in TNA and be the standard here, which he has been. But he hasn't liked what he's seen in the past few months of himself right now, and talked about that his time with TNA is coming to an end, and he wants to be remembered something better than over the past few months. And he talked about his son and everything and how, how he looked at him as his favorite wrestler and being a champion and all that. But, he talked about how he first watched the first episode of TNA in 2002 and basically how it's brought him here. And he's had a 6-year run in this company, but it's time for him to step away. And then he ended up telling the Northern Armory after that, saying like, hey, you guys, you got this from here. And then, he talked about how, management giving them a shot and everything, and even how the Motor City Machine Guns recognize their talent. You guys are going to have to do this without me, but you guys got to do it the right way. And basically, they told him, like, you cannot leave us, okay? This is not happening. And, like, you don't understand. You cannot leave. Next thing you know, the Northern Armory ended up attacking Josh after that. Eric Young came out for the save then and saying, like, you don't mess with Texas and you don't mess with me or Josh Alexander. So they basically set up a tag match for next week. Could this be a ruse? I don't know, because I think, like I said in the Genesis review, I think Josh's contract only goes up to next month. So, like I said, apparently he is really on his way out the door, and his contract is up very soon. So, I don't know what's really going to happen here, if he's going to go out as a face or a heel, or he may just turn on Eric Young next week and just end up going back with the Northern Armory and figuring something out. But, like I said, his contract comes up next month, so I don't know what's going to happen on his way out the door or whatever this is going to do. But his contract is coming up very, very soon, okay? So we're going to see what happens as he probably will, exit this company soon enough. But I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see. Right after that, the System came out. It was Moose and JDC versus the Hardys. Obviously, the Hardys got a big pop. The tag match was good. I will say that. Like I said, the Hardys was super over in general. It ended up with the Hardys winning. Obviously, a twist of fate and a Swanton bomb onto Moose, surprisingly, which I actually was surprised to see. So I don't know if Jeff Hardy's going to get a X Division title shot soon in that. But it was interesting that they actually pinned the X Division champion right here in that JDC. Like, that's what I expected to happen. But I don't know. It's just kind of interesting that Moose took the pinfall here. So pretty strange. Next thing you know, that number 23 showed up then after the Hardys finished their match, which actually today is January 23rd. So somebody was going to be showing up on this show tonight. They have been talking about this 23 for multiple weeks now. Sami Callihan was in the ring then, cutting a promo, talking about he's sick of these 23 mind games and he wants to know who's responsible for it. I gotta say, Sami Callihan looks, wow, it's kind of crazy how he looked a few years ago and how he looks right now. Like, this dude looks really wide all of a sudden now. Like, very wide. And I knew it when I saw him live at one point, but this dude is, like, very wide right now. I don't know why. I just really noticed that. But he talked about he was sick of the 23 and all that. Next, Steph DeLander showed up, which we haven't seen her in a while due to her neck surgery. So good to see she's doing better. And she says she's the new digital media championship, which I thought this title was destroyed by PCO because PCO is not with the company anymore. And she says she won the belt in the divorce. So I guess that's how they got rid of that storyline now. But we seen PCO break the digital media title at a GCW show last Sunday. So he's done with TNA. So I guess this was their way of like, okay, I got the belt now, even though he beat the belt with a sledgehammer. Then again, I was kind of glad that title was gone anyways, because what did this title really do for anybody? Like, seriously, maybe they made it to a TV title or something, or maybe a new title belt, but what does this digital media title do for anyone? Like, I'm really serious sometimes. Like, what is it really doing for anybody right now? So, I don't know. But since Steph DeLander say her husband is gone, she now wants to introduce Callihan to her boyfriend. And then the 23 music hit again. And I didn't even know who this was in the ring, but they said it was Mance Warner. Basically attacked Callihan from behind. And, took the digital media title, hit Callihan with it. As basically Warner and DeLander made out in the ring. I have heard of Mance Warner before. I don't really know much of him. I know the guy's been in, like, a lot of hardcore matches, to what I'm not mistaken. I think in, like, GCW or something, or MLW. I think I heard his name mostly in MLW. Is he the guy that did that stupid shit with the Invisible Man thing, if I'm not mistaken? I had heard something about that. It's really stupid if you look it up, but I think he did that whole Invisible Man match a few years ago. I'm not sure, but I feel like I have heard his name, but I don't really know much about Mance Warner. So I didn't know who this was when he came out and attacked Callihan. Okay, so at least they found some way to explain the whole PCO absence now that he's done with the company. And like I said, good to see Steph DeLander back from neck surgery. So good to see she's doing better. So I guess it'll be a feud with Warner and Callihan. So I'm assuming it's going to be some hardcore match or something. I don't know. But like I said, I don't know much about this guy. Ariana Grace was on commentary for the next match as the NXT Tag Team titles on the line with Axiom and Frazier versus the Rascals. And I gotta say, this was probably this is a great match. The crowd was really behind this. I enjoyed it. I thought this would have kicked off the show. I kind of thought they would have went with that, but I really was enjoying this match. Obviously, towards the end of this match, I know the Rascals were getting the upper hand. I did like the double super kick and Axiom doing a moonsault, which is pretty crazy. Basically, the Rascals, they hit like a big Doomsday Neckbreaker on Axiom for a near fall. But then Desmond Xavier Wesley himself came out, basically trying to scoot the Rascals out. I don't really know who those other guys were from NXT that wouldn't. I think they said their names was Tyreek and Tyson. So they're with Wesley nowadays, so he ended up screwing the Rascals over, which basically gave Axiom and Frazier the upper hand to win the match and still retain the NXT title. So they protected the Rascals from here. I actually probably want to see more of this match because this match was really good. But yeah, I can kind of get Wesley given him screwing the Rascals over before, so I kind of understand that. And maybe he wants the tag team titles for himself. So at least they protected the Rascals without losing clean to someone from another company on their own show. That would have looked pretty bad. But at least they did something here with the cheap finish. So, I'm sure it'll be a rematch at some point. Mike Santana came out through the crowd. Got a big pop. Talked to him, saying one thing he returned to TNA. He said, he wanted to be one of the best. And he beat one of the best at Genesis when he beat Josh Alexander. And now he said he's the new standard of TNA. And he said the goal is still the same right now. It's to become a TNA World Champion. Next thing you know, Mustafa Ali made his return back to TNA. We haven't seen him since Slammiversary I think even after Slammiversary too, but losing the X Division title to Mike Bailey, and I think he had a match with Nick Nemeth, and then he was just gone from the company at this point. Kind of crazy. I kind of saw the guy last month at my brother's indie show, so he was actually here in Chicago doing a match, but I didn't know where Mustafa Ali really went or what company he was with anymore. But Mustafa Ali's still doing the whole, political Secret Service agent thing he still got going on. So, like I say, he's back in the company now. He's still a politician gimmick and whatnot, but he say he's back. He has now signed a contract with TNA Wrestling, and he wants that TNA World Title. So that's going to be his new campaign. He didn't even acknowledge Santana in the ring, or even really, even act like he wasn't even there. Santana just kind of shook his head and discussed looking at him as Mustafa Ali's going, and Ali we trust. So Ali just kind of didn't act like he was even there, and just left the ring there. So good to see Mustafa Ali back in TNA again. Like I said, I actually did enjoy his time as the X Division champion when he was around here last time. So now that he signed the contract now, I guess he will be sticking with TNA then. So obviously, I'm sure it's gonna set up a feud with Mike Santana in. So we'll see what happens there. Because one thing I say with Mike Santana, and I said this during the Genesis review, they really are building him up to go for that TNA World Title at some point. I don't know when he'll get it, but sometime throughout the year, we're gonna see that match. Next, Tessa Blanchard came out, which got a massive amount of boos. I'm almost surprised she didn't get "She's a Racist" chant again. And she basically cut this promo, saying this is Blanchard territory. Tully Blanchard was actually in the crowd. They kind of cut the camera to him for a quick second. But, she talked about San Antonio, and her family owned San Antonio. She talked about her grandfather, Joe Blanchard, talking about, he brought wrestling to cable television before WWE ever did. And, talk about San Antonio doesn't have a real sports team, and the Spurs don't count, and that they lost to Alamo and everything. And even talked about her dad in the crowd. That's a WWE Hall of Famer, an original member of the Four Horsemen. And, talk about her dad and her grandfather, saying, we're great here in Texas, better than a Von Erich or Steve Austin or even a Terry Funk or any of the Funks. Basically, she told them that, she's going to be one of the greatest things around here in this company. She took out the trash last Sunday, and, basically saying that she answers to nobody. So, like I said, say what you want. I guess with Tessa Blanchard, her personal feelings aside, that was a good heat-seeking promo, but I think people just don't really like her in general. But this promo did garner a lot of heat out here. Like I said, I'm almost surprised she didn't get "She's a Racist" chant again. But this was a good promo. I will say that. And it got a lot of heat. But, is she getting heat for the promo, or is she getting heat for the other stuff that's going on with her right now, or been going on with her? So, because it doesn't look like she's going to really escape those "She's a Racist" chants. So, yeah. There you go. Then again, I don't know if people even really want to see her in this company in general. But we'll see what happens with Tessa Blanchard next. Like I said, especially after being Jordan Grace. But like I said, we already knew she was on her way out the door anyways. Check out more of that in my Genesis review. But a good promo, though. Frankie Kazarian was out there at the announce table then, basically with his Call Your Shot trophy. Basically still trying to get towards that TNA World title and somewhat cashing it in at some point. And I guess he says he's going to go after JBL also. But the main event was ready to start between Joe Hendry versus Matt Cardona for the TNA World title. Obviously, the big announcements, the big announcements and whatnot before the match started. I did enjoy this match, and it actually was really good. Especially, then they had the rest of the show. So they had some good time out there. So it was a solid main event. Now, I'm sure the ref bump came in, which, of course, you're going to get some shenanigans here and there. Which, I guess Cardona was going to go for the radio silence. Hendry got out the way, almost knocked into the ref. But, Cardona ended up running into the referee then, going down. Hendry ended up hitting like a big power bomb then, which, the ref couldn't count. Cardona ended up blowing Joe Hendry then after that. He ended up picking up the TNA World title and smiling at it like he was going to get in the ring and hit Joe Hendry with the belt. But next thing you know, JBL came through the crowd, which is just kind of crazy with him right now. Shows up at Genesis, then shows up on Monday Night Raw and doesn't even know what happened. And now shows back up here tonight in San Antonio for TNA to help Joe Hendry, I guess, retained the title. Whose side is JBL even really on? We still don't know. We still don't have an explanation. But he took out Matt Cardona with a clothesline from hell. Hendry and JBL just had a stare down in after that. Cardona ended up hitting Hendry with the TNA World title. The ref was still down, tried to make the count, but Hendry got out of there. He ducked the next title shot, hit the standing ovation, and still retained the TNA World title from here. So, big win for Joe Hendry. Obviously, it's the first title defense. Where will Matt Cardona end up next? I have no idea. But a really good, solid main event, though, that I did enjoy. Who does JBL still align himself with? We still don't know. Maybe we'll find out next week when Nick Nemeth explains that. So, I don't know. But Joe Hendry basically celebrated with the crowd and everything before this show went off the air. They will be back live again in the next month, February the 20th. I believe at Full Sail, if I'm not mistaken. So, we are going to see more live episodes of TNA. And that's great to see. Because, like I said, we haven't seen one in over 8 years until tonight. So, I'm glad to see TNA is even doing live episodes again. So, that'll really be good to see. That's going to be good. So, we're going to see what happens from there. But overall, I did enjoy this episode of Impact. Like I said, I know I don't really review a lot of these episodes every week, or a lot of shows every week like I used to at some point. But this was a special occasion tonight. Okay? This was live, so I didn't know what was going to happen on here. And yeah, we got a few surprises on here. We got some returns. Matt Cardona, Mustafa Ali signing a contract with TNA. Obviously, the main event itself. So we saw, a few surprises. A couple NXT people pop up here and there. But like I said, really good show tonight. Definitely enjoyed Impact. So don't know what's going to happen next week, but we'll see. But other than that, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at HoodKnight890. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys later, and peace out.